The Orlando Magic have won 11 of their last 13 games against the Charlotte Bobcats, but this is the playoffs. Dwight Howard and company got to the finals last year, first quarter. These the first ever playoff points for the Charlotte Bobcats, scored by Boris Diaw, and in Charlotte's first ever game, this is Steve Smith, NBA TV Steve Smith in the action. We get you back to today's game, though, because it's the playoffs, first quarter action. Jameer Nelson inside. He blew up in the first quarter. At this point, he was outscoring the Bobcats by himself, 12-10. Then it's Rashard Lewis missing. Dwight Howard gets the rebound, and Rashard Lewis gets a little closer on that one. He was 8 of 11 from the field. And Steven Jackson on the other end going up for a layup. Guess who blocks him? That's right, Dwight Howard with the big block inside. Jackson gets the rebound and is blocked again. Howard had 6 blocks in the opening quarter alone. Second quarter action outside. Gerald Wallace gets the tip in off the Larry Hughes miss. Gerald Wallace was everywhere. Michael Jordan liking what he sees. Michael Petrus in the corner for the triple. He had 14 off the bench. The Magic up 44-34 later in the second quarter. Steven Jackson missing the three. Gerald Wallace going for the rebound. Jameer Nelson picks up the loose ball. Time running out in the half. Jameer Nelson had 24 in the opening half alone, but as we take another look, big story here, Steven Jackson down on the court. He and Gerald Wallace run into each other. Jackson hyper extends his knee on the play, but Jackson's a gamer, and he would return in the second half and make an impact. Third quarter action. This is Raymond Felton driving baseline inside. Dwight Howard gets the block. That's his 9th block. That matches a career high. Later in the third, inside, Theo Ratliff, strong move with the jam, but Charlotte still down 16, 65, 49. MJ's crew on the comeback trail, though. Matt Barnes inside. He misses the shot. Raymond Felton racing out the other way, sinking the layup, and the lead is all the way down to 9-69-60. Raymond Felton, a nice game. Then Steven Jackson driving hard to the hole, and that's the 5th foul on Dwight Howard. Charlotte closing in, and Howard in foul trouble. Later, it's Tyson Chandler with the miss. Steven Jackson gets the rebound, misses once, but makes the second attempt. He had 18 points on the night. Later, Raymond Felton outside with the triple. He was 2 of 4 from range and had 19 points on the night. Still, fourth quarter action. Vince Carter had a tough day. Guarding Gerald Wallace. That's tough anytime. He picks up his 6th foul, so he fouls out of the game. 4 of 19 from the field was Vince Carter. Later in the fourth, off the miss, Gerald Wallace snags the rebound and is hit in the head on what very well could have been Dwight Howard's 6th foul on this play. Magic getting a little fortunate on this one. Then it's J.J. Redick missing, but Dwight Howard, well, he stays in the game and he gets it done. Just 5 points and 7 rebounds, though, for Howard, but 9 big blocks. And then it's Michael Petrus in the corner. How does he get that three-pointer to go? It goes somehow, and the Magic go forward with the victory over the Charlotte Bobcats. Despite the heroic efforts of Gerald Wallace, 25 points and 17 boards, the Magic get it done by 9, 98-89.
Dwight Howard receiving the Defensive Player of the Year award for the 2nd straight year. Dennis, no surprise there.
No surprise at all. Blocking shots, rebounding, just being a terror down in the paint.
And you see them cutting up before the basketball game.
Jay Will got a little help.
Steven Jackson ready to go, obviously. And here we go with the highlights. And it's Dwight Howard blocking Gerald Wallace. Dwight had 9 blocks in game 1. And then it's Jameer Nelson, the alley-oop to Matt Barnes. Orlando up 9-3. And Gerald Wallace, number 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Right here, the block on Vince.
Get that shot out of here.
He's playing both ends of the court. He started off slow, scoring in the first half, but he's still been aggressive and helping his team on both ends and giving him a chance, as you see. Check. Finishing on the other end.
And that was another Gerald Wallace block that led to that and one. Orlando up 15-14. J.J. Redick to Marcin Gortat.
Sharing the basketball. J.J. Redick knows he's a shooter, but attacking the lane. Look at Petrus knocking down the big money ball. Telling the crowd to be quiet.
DJ Augustine says, you know what, I can do the same exact thing. Top of the key. Charlotte now within 7. More second quarter action. Jameer Nelson to Ryan Anderson.
Just being able to create get through that double team. Now those guys, that's what's making the luxury of them and those big guys and step out shooting those threes.
At halftime, it was 41-30 Orlando. Yep, Charlotte only had 30 points, and Dennis?
Nerf hoop, get the ball down low, getting Dwight the ball, letting him know. Oh, watch out. Watch your head.
Theo Ratliff.
Come on, Rattle.
Ending up on a poster right here.
Don't jump.
That's called, he needs help on that one.
12-point lead for Orlando. Gerald Wallace ain't going out like that, though. Turns the corner, takes it right at Gortat, and he scores. Gerald Wallace, 15 points, 6 rebounds. A far cry from his game one. Rashard Lewis, 4-3, Orlando by 17.
Just keeping it going. I mean, as you see right here, starting on the defensive end, and that's what has to be have Van Gundy happy is the fact that their defense is creating some offense for them as well.
Barnes had 11, Orlando by 19. And Dennis?
I think it's a money ball. Rashard Lewis from his favorite spot, the right wing.
3 of 7 from deep for Rashard Lewis. A Game 2 victory for the Orlando Magic, 92-77.
The Charlotte Bobcats' first ever playoff appearance hasn't been very enjoyable so far after dropping the first 2 of the series with Orlando. Maybe hosting their first postseason game in 6 years would provide a much-needed boost to stay alive and a talking
One bad shot for them, rebound the ball, and let them know they're in a fight right from the beginning, all right? Do what you do best.
Play hard on three. Play hard on three. 1, 2, 3.
Play hard.
Coach Larry Brown trying to rally his troops and avoid going down 0-3 in the series, and they'd have to deal with Jameer Nelson from the start. On the other end, Gerald Wallace, free ball, corner pocket it's going to go. He had 13 points and 8 rebounds on the night. Steven Jackson with the steal and the jam. Bobcats fans out of their seats early on with a 2-point lead. Jameer Nelson capping a big quarter at the buzzer. He had 19 in the first 12 minutes of this game. Second quarter now. Larry Hughes working the crossover, going baseline. Teardrop is going to fall. He had 14 on the night. It's a 2-point game. Bobcats still on top, and they're still coming. This time Hughes knocking down the triple. Guys on the sidelines like to see that. Charlotte with a slim lead at the break. Things even in the third now, and Nelson knocking down the jumper. He was just getting going. Dwight Howard, an abbreviated night, gets that one to go with the foul. But Dwight, frustrated on this night, just kind of tosses Gerald Wallace to the floor. Picks up his 4th foul on the play, so he'd have to have a seat. Having a tough series on the offensive end is Dwight. Orlando leading by 2. Not for long. Steven Jackson gets it to go on the goaltending. Bobcats playing more defense. You know, Orlando turned it over 19 times in this game. DJ Augustine with the steal and the score. Later in the fourth, Dwight with the block. Then it's Dwight on the other end getting blocked. Yeah, Bobcats on the run. Augustine to Captain Jack. Captain Jack to Nazir Muhammad. Underneath, puts it up and in. Not at its 77 apiece, it's Dwight. Oh, that's mean. 13 points, 8 rebounds, 7 blocks in this game, but he was in foul trouble all night long. Picks up his 6th and final foul. He would leave the game after playing just 26 minutes on the night. Magic leading by 1, and it's Jameer. Oh, he's nasty. 32 points for the second time this series, tying a career playoff high. Raymond Felton responding. 85-84. Bobcat trying to make something happen, and Raymond Felton is going to miss. That's all she wrote. In Charlotte, Bobcats with a huge mountain to climb, a mountain that has never been topped before, down 0-3 in the series. Game 4 Monday in Charlotte. Game 4, Magic Bobcats. Orlando coming in with brooms in hand, ready to dish out the first sweep of this year's playoffs, with the Bobcats trailing 3-0. Charlotte in need of a miracle these days to win 4 straight, and it would have to start on Monday night, and things didn't start too well for Charlotte as Jameer Nelson drains the 3. 26 points per game in the series, only turned it over 3 times. Meanwhile, Rashard Lewis knocks down a triple of his own, 18-8 at that point. On the other end, Bobcats responding. Gerald Wallace, 3 up and 3 down. part of a 10-0 Cats run to make it a 1-point game. A few plays later, time winding down. Raymond Felton to beat the buzzer at the end of one. If you don't like that, you don't like basketball. Second quarter we go. Tied at 31 apiece. Bobcats making it happen. DJ Augustine hooping the harm. That's Dwight Howard's third foul of the game. He's been in foul trouble all series long. He would have a seat. He was held to just 6 points in this game. Meanwhile, off the miss, Boris Diaw with the tip in. It was a 2-point game at the break. In the third now, Orlando trying to turn it off. VC fade away. 4-point game. Stephen Jackson and company right back at you. Jackson gets it to Tyrus Thomas, who had himself a night. Career playoff high, 21 in the ball game. Matt Barnes chipping in for the Blue Crew. He sees the three and knocks it in. Wallace has your answer. His triple try is true. Bobcats within 2. Vince Carter finds his stroke. 21 for him. Augustine coming to the cup, and Dwight Howard says, get that weak stuff up out of here. Michael Petrus on the other end. Yes, sir. Absolutely huge down the stretch for Orlando as you take a second look at the block. Some thought it should have been goaltending. Nothing was called. Petrus 13 off the bench. Jameer Nelson, solid night. 18 points for him as the Magic become the first team to punch their ticket to the second round as they complete their first sweep in franchise history. They now await the winner of Atlanta and Milwaukee.